She admitted what she did. But when the judge gave the sentence, the entire courtroom changed.
Mr. Chairman, you ready to proceed?
State's ready.
So before the court for sentencing the matter of States versus Sarah Erickson, she served on 2503 and 40, having pleaded guilty to count 1 as amended to aggravated manslaughter in the first degree. Now the appearances of counsel starting with State.
Thank you, Judge. Ed Shim appearing on behalf of the state.
Kate Weigel on behalf of Ms. Erickson.
And first I'm going to talk about the pre-sentence report, then we'll move to the other issues. Ms. Weigel, any corrections, additions, or deletions to the pre-sentence report?
No, Your Honor. My client and I both had the opportunity to review the pre-sentence report. It does appear to be substantially accurate with no additions or corrections.
And anything from the state?
Not with regard to the pre-sentence report.
All right, very well.
At first, this looks like a routine sentencing. But the moment you realize what this case is about, everything changes. This isn't just a crime. This is a story about betrayal inside a family, the kind that's almost impossible to process.
Yeah. First and foremost, I want to apologize from the bottom of my heart to Emily Tammy. I know what happened is heartbreaking. It's something I can't fix and should have never happened. I take full responsibility for my actions while getting high. I wish every day that I could go back and change it. I did and still do love my sister, and I will miss her the rest of my life.
She says she takes full responsibility. But listen carefully. The apology feels distant, almost detached from the reality the family's about to describe. Because what comes next completely reshapes how you see this case.
Mr. Schiff?
Thank you, Judge. With regard to the mitigating factors, we'll get that out of the way. I would ask Your Honor to find mitigating factor 4 not to be applicable. There is no justification in taking another person's life because you may be endangered. With regard to the request for 12, providing simply factual information at your plea does not rise to the level of mitigating factor 12. With regard to mitigating factor 13, which was requested, she is not a youthful offender, so I would ask Your Honor to not find that. With regard to mitigating factor 7, she did not maintain a substantial period of being crime-free. In fact, within 3 years of graduating from a drug court, she committed the present offense. With regard to character and attitude, given the history, Judge, and given that she actually graduated from drug court and yet she committed these offenses, I would ask that Your Honor not find that. With regard to 15, the factor still requires some reasonably competent evidence. None has been provided, so I would ask that Your Honor not find 15. I would ask that Your Honor find objectively aggravating factors 3, 6, and 9, the likelihood that she will commit another offense, her extent of her criminal history, and the need to deter her as well as others.
This is where the courtroom shifts. Victim impact statements aren't just emotional. They reveal what the legal system often can't fully capture: the human damage behind the charges.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Barbara Maryfield. I'm Emily's one of her aunts. I'm sorry, let me just compose myself.
You just take it.
Your Honor, when I first got the call that Emily was gone, it almost killed me. Okay, I knew right away that Sarah had something to do with it. Okay, her mother had made up a will right before she died and had me in charge of it because she did not want Sarah in charge of it. Okay, I have a video of it. It's not just me saying it because she knew something would happen, Your Honor. Okay, Emily looked up to Sarah. Even everything Sarah had always done to her all her life, Sarah loved her older sister. Emily loved her older sister. She did everything to try and make Sarah love her back, okay? You don't know, Your Honor, what this has done to everybody in our family. It's not just us, but to Sarah's kids, too. It has ruined their lives, okay? I don't know if she ever thinks about what she did to her own kids, but it's ruined her kids' lives, too. How the heck could you inject your sister with fentanyl, knowing the stuff that kills people? How could you do that to your little sister, Sarah? It wasn't bad enough when you tied her up for days, and I got a phone call while I was out of town in the middle of the night telling me that she had been tied up for days. I had her call the police. was bad enough. But now, right after that, she gets killed. If I would have gotten my way, Your Honor, I would never, ever let this woman released from jail. Okay, because that still wouldn't be enough time for what has been done to Emily. Okay, in my eyes, it was premeditated and greed. How could she disrupt so many lives? Okay, Emily was such a beautiful, beautiful little girl, so happy. Everybody just loved her. All this were financial needs. They had everything they could use and have. They inherited a house, money, everything. But Sarah made sure she got rid of Emily so she could have all that. Okay, so I just want to put that out there, Your Honor. And just one more thing, and I'm not just saying that about Emily. I was an awesome aunt to Sarah. I have always...
What stands out here isn't just grief, it's fear. Multiple people describing the same pattern: control, abuse, manipulation. And whether all of it is legally proven or not, in this courtroom, perception matters. Because it shapes how everyone sees the defendant sitting there.
I witnessed Sarah's behavior for a long time. I lived with her for a while, taking care of her ailing mother, who is dying of cancer. I witnessed her abuse. I was a victim of it as well. She was abusive to Emily and her mother. They were definitely afraid of her. Her mother was manipulated into changing her will, and I had to be a witness to it. I asked her mother if she was sure she wanted to make those changes. And the mother was so upset and intimidated that she just agreed because of her fear of Sarah harming her in some way and didn't have the strength to argue about it. Sarah's children have been through so much and witnessed so much turmoil that they need much normalcy, impossible without her influence. I feel they are better now that she is no longer involved in their lives. I am praying that the law will work as it should and sentence her to the longest possible punishment, because she is a danger to society. Her actions were cold, cruel, and
Now, what you're about to hear is disturbing. Details like these are often toned down in court. But even in this setting, the reality of what allegedly happened is hard to ignore.
Next, I would like to say how sick and disappointed I am in the deal that was given to Sarah. Emily was just 21 years old and murdered premeditatedly. Emily's murder, orchestrated by Sarah, her own sister, again, despite the language of this deal, was indeed premeditated. Sarah and Joe dosed Emily with Xanax to make it easy to incapacitate her. Then they purposely shot Emily up with narcotics to kill her. The lawyers in the courtroom can tell Sarah to say she was not sure Emily would die, but no one really believes that injecting double-digit bags of heroin and fentanyl into someone would not kill them. Emily, in her last moments, knew she was going to die, and also knew she was going to die at the hands of her own sister and her own fiance. With zero remorse, they went back to partying after watching Emily struggle to breathe and then finally take her last breath. The guilty continued to party for hours as Emily's body got cold, but never as cold as their hearts and their soulless bodies.
On 2/17/23, I received a call, no pair at once, that my daughter was dead. I could feel my heart break. The pain was so intense I could not speak. It was like the world was at a standstill. If I had to describe what it feels like to be paralyzed, this would definitely be it. The pain was so deep, all I could do was stare and beg God to wake me up from this nightmare. My daughter was taken from me through a senseless act of violence, a cowardly act. Although the defendant took my daughter away from me physically, she doesn't have the power to take away the love and memories that I hold dearly in my heart. My daughter was everything, and you took that away from me. My life will never be the same. The pain has impacted me mentally, physically, and emotionally. In a way, some might think we should carry hatred in our heart, but instead I carry pity. Pity for you, Sarah. I beg the court to reject this plea deal and sentence her to the maximum sentence under the law if that can be done. This was premeditated. She had it planned out and acted on it. And what they did to my daughter, making her suffer for 7 hours, she don't even deserve 8 years. She don't deserve life in prison. But Your Honor, for Emily, if you can reject this and make it more years to the maximum of 20, please do that.
That right there, that's the moment everything hits. Not the legal arguments, not the plea deal. A father trying to describe what it feels like to lose his daughter and knowing how it happened. That's something no sentence can balance. And here's where things get complicated, because no matter how emotional this case is, the judge isn't sentencing based on feelings. He's bound by the law and, more importantly, by the plea deal already agreed upon.
Maybe, folks, these are terribly difficult cases for the state to prove. So the court finds the sentencing recommendation containing the plea agreement as appropriate, and it will be followed. The court has heard from the following people. I heard from Barbara Merrifield. I've heard from Patricia Del Corio, Richard Prudis, and Jim Prudis. And thank you, all of you, for having the courage to get before this court today and say your piece. Accordingly, the court shall sentence the defendant as follows as count 1 as amended. 8 years in New Jersey State Prison, subject to no early release act. You must serve 85% NAM, which is approximately 6 years and 10 months before you're eligible for parole, with a 5-year term of parole supervision.
8 years. For a case the family believes was premeditated. This is the part that leaves people divided. On one side, the legal system, working within evidence, risk, and procedure. On the other, a family that feels like justice was never fully served. And that gap is where cases like this stay with people long after the courtroom is empty.